This problem looks really complicated, so I wanted to go ahead and do it out. If you'll remember, you had sort of kind of a plan of attack of solving equalities or equations. And that said, first you have to do all distribution, right? And then you have to collect like terms, and then you have to do the addition and the multiplication properties. Well, if you stick with that idea of always doing the distribution first, it will be much better for you in the end. So let's go ahead, and even though we're working with an inequality this time, let's go ahead and let's use that same idea of the distribution. Now this does mean that you have to know your fractions, but by this point you should know those. So we're going to distribute out our fractions here. 5 6 times 3x. Let's see, 3 will go into 6 2 times, so that's going to be 5 halves x. And then 2 will go into 6 3 times, so that's going to be plus 5 thirds. I'm sorry, minus 5 thirds. I saw that as being a minus sign, but that's the fraction bar, so that should be a minus. Now we're going to distribute the negative 2/3 times 4x minus 1. So negative 2/3 times 4x would be a negative 8 over 3x. And negative 2/3 times negative 1 would be a positive 2/3. Less than, now let's see, negative 2/9 times 2x would be a negative 4/9 x. And negative 2/9 times 5 would be a negative 10/9. Okay, so we've done all distribution. Now we could collect like terms at this point, or since we're working with fractions, we could eliminate those fractions now and get rid of them. In order to do that, we'd have to multiply through by the common denominator, which in this case would be an 18. So if I multiplied every single term by 18, and I'm just going to write my 18 in a different color here so you can see that we're going to be multiplying every term by 18. So now 2 will go into 18 9 times. 9 times 5 would be 45 x. 3 goes into 18 6 times, so that's going to be a minus 30. 3 goes into 18 6 times, so that's going to be a minus 48x. And 3 goes into 18 6 times, so that's going to be a plus 12. Less than. 9 goes into 18 2 times, so that'll be a minus 8x. And 9 goes into 18 2 times, so that'll be a minus 20. So now we have a little bit larger numbers, the 45 and 48 sort of to work with, but at least we don't have any fractions. Now we can combine our like terms. So 45 and a negative 48 would be a negative 3x, and a negative 30 and a positive 12 would be a negative 18. And now I haven't multiplied or divided by a negative, so my symbol stays the same direction. And over here we have negative 8x and a negative 20. Now we can begin to move things using the addition properties. So if I move this negative 8x over to the left, I'm going to have to do the opposite, which would be to add 8x. So now we have 5x minus 18 is less than negative 20. And if I move the 18 over, I'd have to add 18 to both sides. So now we have 5x is less than a negative 2. And now to get x alone, we'd have to divide both sides by 5 to get x on the left, negative 2/5 on the right. Now we did not multiply or divide by a negative, so our symbol stays the same. So our answer is the x's that are less than negative 2/5. And now we could write that out into set builder notation or in interval notation and graph it depending on what the directions tell you to do.